Back to Black, a Christian history. Today, we'll be able to look at the history of Nat Turner, who was a pastor, a rebellion leader, a Black slave, and an American. During slavery, it was common for slave owners to use specific Bible verses to manipulate their slave laborers, Black humans. Nat Turner, a bright mind, was curious about the entire chapter, not just some verses. This is why reading was banned. Turner began reading the entire chapters. He saw that the slaves of Egypt did not stay with Pharaoh. He became aware of a man named Moses. Moses was supposed to be a slave, but was raised by royalty. Not perfect. God is perfect. The great I am. But Moses was the perfect man for the job at hand. Paired with his brother Aaron, Moses went to Pharaoh and demanded, as instructed by God, to have the Pharaoh let my people go. This inspired Nat Turner to lead a slave rebellion. He too demanded from the slavers in America that they too let my people go. 75 years later, Sojourner Truth freed herself from the sharecropping South by speaking across the country on the human rights of women, all women. Even still, amongst feminists, her womanhood was questioned. But Truth stood tall. She had to ask the Gronke sisters, I carry bushels of cotton like a man. I travel speaking for women, and she gets seated in the back of this room. Yet it is a women's conference, and ain't I a woman? When the feminists of 1851 at the Women's Right Convention strove to gain suffrage, it was clear it was a priority for white women, not Black women. A racial issue that has repeated itself in modern DEI and affirmative action movements, where Black women find themselves with a thicker glass ceiling than their peers. Langston Hughes was drove to write in 1925 prior to attending college at Lincoln University that he too is America. He is the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh. I eat well and I grow strong, for tomorrow I will sit at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say, eat in the kitchen. Then they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed, for I too am America. 45 years after that, Martin Luther King Jr. became the face of civil rights in America, for he had a dream. But before being glorified for his civil rights activism, MLK was an incredibly bright student. 15 years old when he entered Morehouse College, he attended divinity school in Boston to earn his doctorate degree by 26. MLK was not only a Christian, but was a strong advocate of non-violent protests. He turned the other cheek when being sprayed by water hoses. He turned the other cheek when he faced unjust arrest. He turned the other cheek when his house was bombed. He turned the other cheek despite the constant attacks on his character and family. He showed grace, love, and compassion to his oppressors. Who were the oppressors? The government, police officers, citizens who were aligned with the Jim Crow South, or just unjust laws? St. Augustine once stated, an unjust law is no law at all. Unfortunately, in America, during MLK and Nat Turner's time, they lynched Negroes. What was MLK's crime that he had to be assassinated by the U.S. government on April 4th, 1968 in Memphis? Was it advocating for voting rights for all American citizens? Was it asking for livable wages for the workers in Memphis? Was it asking for international peace and a break from the American war machine? He won the Nobel Peace Prize, but unfortunately, the peace was taken from him. Is equality not noble? Is equity not noble? Are human rights not noble? 60 years later, after MLK, Christianity is still the heart of human rights. Christianity held meetings and meetings for Nat Turner in his time. Churches served as a meeting location for civil rights movements during King's time. When King passed, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference looked to Robert Abernathy to take lead. Jesse Jackson, may he rest in peace, established the Rainbow Coalition in Chicago to span across all unequal demographics. And ain't I a human? Black history was made in protests, rebellions, and blood. Civil rights for African Americans opened the door for human rights to be expanded to all races in America. And yet today, we still ask about certain citizens and humans, ain't I a human? Black history and Christianity in America have housed human rights for 400 years. You do not serve unjust laws as a Christian. You serve an all powerful God who empowers you to march, protest, rebel, and bleed for humanity. And ain't I a Christian? So when it comes to human rights in America, Black history has leaned on Nat Turner, Sojourner Truth, Martin Luther King, and Christianity to bear the cross of human rights. May we all be so in love with Jesus Christ that we choose to be servant leaders of humanity. That's Black history.